The events of September 11th, 2001 happened over 23 years ago, and there's still a lot of questions surrounding what actually happened and who was behind the attacks. And obviously, we do know that Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al Qaeda, was predominantly behind it, but there's a lot of people who still believe that George Bush, the current president of the United States, was urging him on to do that based on political reasons and a lot of other reasons. And in this video, we'll look at both sides of whether George Bush was behind 9/11. And when 9/11 happened, he was in Sarasota, Florida at Emma E. Booker Elementary School. And one of the biggest things that people say about George Bush on 9/11 was that when he found out about the attacks, he didn't look particularly surprised. And that can be taken as either A, he was a good leader and he didn't want to scare the kids or other people in the room, or B, he already knew that it was coming, so he wasn't actually that surprised or disturbed by the news of the attacks on the World Trade Centers. But there was also political reasons. The United States had wanted to attack the Middle East for a long time, and this gave them really good reason within the UN to go after the Middle East, especially places like Iraq and Saudi Arabia. And George Bush was empowered by these events to go and attack in these areas. And also, the day that this happened on September 11th, the United States was supposed to lose a ton of money, but they ended up not doing that, obviously, because the World Trade Centers were predominantly surrounding the stock exchange. And because the World Trade Centers were crashed into, it didn't look as bad, and the stock exchange was different on that day, obviously. However, on the flip side, there is the logistical thing of why would a United States president intentionally have planes crash into two of the most large buildings in the entire country and at the time in the entire world, and why would a US president orchestrate attacks on his own country? That doesn't make sense. There is different ways to justify going into the Middle East. There's different ways of doing all of this than claiming thousands of lives. Almost 3,000 people died on 9/11, and those were American citizens that were just working their jobs. So it doesn't really make sense in a logical mind for George Bush to be behind this. And there's also the option that it wasn't George Bush behind it, but it was maybe the CIA or other institutions like that within the States that really orchestrated this within the United States. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think happened on 9/11. God bless.